the Cylinder Turf Club for barrier trials this Tuesday, the 24th of February. 5 trials to take place, and trials 1, 2, and 3 will be on track 2, and the track reading is good this morning. And then trials 4 and 5 will be contested on the sand track. All 5 trials over 1,000 meters, and we got the first trial coming up at 9:10. And the runners and riders on the screen: Rocket Star Dragon will be ridden by Joe Cameron. Superpower HS Gill. To Remember Esper Holden. War Star will be ridden by Uzair. Fortune Rising Shafiq. Popeye the Sailor Man will be ridden by Casey Lowe. And Cavalry will be ridden by Fikri. Those are the runners and riders for trial 1, a field of 7. And just a reminder, first 3 trials on track 2, trials 4 and 5 on the sand track, all 5 trials over 1,000 meters. And the first trial will begin in about 8 minutes time. runners moving in for the first trial this morning. Rocket Star Dragon, the first one. Field of 7 runners for trial 1. Over 1,000 meters on track 2. And working on a good track this morning. As Superpower will be the next one. Only runner in this field harder to race this weekend is To Remember. Of course, racing takes place on Saturday, the 28th of February, the last race meeting for the month. And then we'll begin the month of March in Ipoh on Sunday. As To Remember steps forward. Warstar moves in. 3 runners left to load. Fortune Rising. Popeye the Sailor Man, the next one. And that leaves Cavalry as the last one. Cavalry steps up and in. Set and ready. Trial 1 for the morning. And away and trialing. To Remember dwelt. Lost about 6 lengths when the starter said go. Towards the inside of runners, Rocket Star Dragon, one of the first to show, was Superpower in the middle, and deep route is Fortune Rising. Just in behind that is Popeye the Sailor Man. That's currently trialing away back and forth, and about 5 lengths off the leaders. 3 lengths back at Cavalry up on the outside of To Remember, who's now improving, as well as Warstar is towards the back end of the field as well. About 8 lengths cover the field as they're homeward bound with 500 meters left to travel. And out in front, it's Rocket Star Dragon with the lead by 2 lengths. Superpower in second, Fortune Rising the inside in third. Up on the outside is Popeye the Sailor Man. They're being tracked by To Remember, who makes his run towards the outside with Warstar, and Cavalry's last of all. 200 meters left to travel now. Out in front, Rocket Star Dragon, but he's got company, as right alongside him is Fortune Rising, and Popeye the Sailor Man starts to quicken up smartly on the outside. It's Fortune Rising with Popeye the Sailor Man with the run down to the line. Fortune Rising gets up just ahead of Popeye the Sailor Man from Rocket Star Dragon. Then came Superpower. In behind that was To Remember, followed further back by Warstar, and Cavalry was last across the line. So Fortune Rising will win trial 1 for the morning. From the Richard Lim stable, Shafiq aboard. And quickens up smartly in the closing stages. Popeye the Sailor Man was back in second. A nice return for him from the Richard Line stable. Casey Lowe in the saddle. These two were left to fight it out, right alongside each other. But it will go the way of Fortune Rising on the inside. That gets the better of Popeye the Sailor Man with the run down to the line. Third place went the way of Rocket Star Dragon, who was the long-time leader. Then came Superpower, followed by To Remember. Then came Warstar, and Cavalry was last across the line. So just to confirm the numbers, Fortune Rising, the winner. Popeye the Sailor Man in second. Third place, Rocket Star Dragon. In fourth was Superpower. Fifth place, To Remember. In sixth was Warstar. And Cavalry was last across the line in seventh. That completes trial 1. We move across to trial 2 shortly, and the runners and riders will be on screen shortly after the replay. Runners and riders for trial 2. Start off with the unnamed runner, which will be ridden by Rosani by D'Argento out of Locust. Written to Win will be ridden by KC Lowe. Dream Mar will be ridden by H. Kel. Super Bowl will be ridden by S. Uzair. Queen of Star, J. Ikram. Flying Fighter, Jose de Souza. And Momachito will be ridden by Atmazani. Those are the runners and riders for trial 2. Once again, a field of 7 runners, and they're busy making their way out onto the track. And we should commence in approximately 5 minutes' time for trial 2. Runners moving in for trial 2. Flying Fighter, the first one in. Now for the turn of the unnamed runner by D'Argento under the mare Locust, steps forward. Rosani will be aboard that one. Field of 7 runners here for trial 2. As Written to Win steps forward. Super Bowl. And 3 runners left to load. Queen of Star, the next one. Last 2 is Dream Ma and Mama Chico, and we'll be set for a start. Dreamer. Moves in. Mama Chico, the last one. Mama Chico steps up. Field of 7 runners, 1,000 meters, trial 2 for the morning. Sets, ready and off and trialing, and the starters caught them as a perfect line. Towards the inside, the unnamed runner by D'Argento under Rosani shows a good amount of early pace. In the middle is Dream Ma, and deeper up Mama Chico, made to a line of 3 with Queen of Star also pushing forward to be up there in the leading group. Just in behind that is Written to Win. That's trialing alongside Super Bowl, and Flying Fighters the back marker. 5 lengths covered the field going past the 600 meter mark, and it's Mama Chico that's now moved across from the widest barrier to get up into the lead by a length and a half to Dreamer back in second. The unnamed runners battle on the inside and starting to fade out. Towards the outside of runners is Queen of Star, then came Written to Win, followed by Flying Fighter, and in behind that is Super Bowl. They're into the final 250 meters, and Mama Chico is out in front by a length and a half. So Dreamer racing back on the inside and working into the trial while is Written to Win. Deeper out on the track, you've got Super Bowl. They've got to catch Mama Chico down along the inside. Dreamer is now quickening up best of all, and will pick it up into the closing stages. Beats home. Very close in second and third. Maybe Written to Win just ahead of Mama Chico. Then came Super Bowl from the unnamed runner. Then came Flying Fighter. And Queen of Star was last across the line. So it will be Dream Ma on the inside. That quickens up best of all in the closing stages from the HY Chen stable, and HI Cowl, the winning jockey here, and will win by just about a length or so. It gets very close for second and third between Written to Win and Mama Chico, but it will go the way of Written to Win on the outside, who is back in second. Mama Chico in third, who was the long-time leader and just faded out in the closing stages. Fourth place went the way. Does get quite close between Super Bowl and the unnamed runner, so we're just waiting for the replay to roll through. Go the outside Super Bowl, just ahead of the unnamed runner. Then came Flying Fighter, and Queen of Star was last across the line. So just to confirm the numbers here, Dream Ma's the winner from Written to Win in second, Mama Chico in third. Fourth place was Super Bowl. Fifth place was the unnamed runner by D'Argento. Sixth place was Flying Fighter, and Queen of Star was last across the line. That completes trial 2. We head across to trial 3, which will be up next shortly, and it should commence in approximately 6 minutes time, and it will be a field of 7 runners. Once again, this will be the last trial on track 2 before we head across to the sand track for trials 4 and 5. So up next is trial 3 for the morning. The runners and riders on the screen. It's in actual fact a field of 6 runners by the looks of things. The first runner is by Spieth out of Call Me Cute. It's unnamed and will be ridden by Shafiq. The second runner is also an unnamed runner. This is by Proisier and will be ridden by W.H. Lim. Made of Fortune will be ridden by Razani. Ice Age will be ridden by Joe Camarudin. Looks like Official has been taken out of this trial, so that is the second of the stretchings there. Safe Journey will be ridden by S. Shazman, and 2 Million will be ridden by Bahaudan. So it's a field of 6 runners for trial 3. They'll be making their way down to the start shortly and should commence in about 4 minutes' time. Runners moving in for the third trial. Ice Age, the first one in. Field of 6 runners here. Loading process shouldn't take too long. 2 Million's also moved in. Meanwhile, Safe Journey is about to move up. That's already half the field loaded away. Just got 3 runners left, which will be Made of Fortune, as well as an unnamed runner by Spieth, who will be ridden by Shafiq. And the second of the unnamed runners is by Projet, and we're ridden by W.H. Lim. The second unnamed runner moves in. The other unnamed runner also steps forward. That one by Spieth and will be ridden by Shafiq. And then last, the unnamed runners is Major Fortune. Not the unnamed runner, rather. As Major Fortune moves in. Field of 6 runners. We're just about set and ready now for trial 3. And it moves away 1,000 meters. Dates are back and away and trialing. And slow into stride was Major Fortune. He's at the back end of the field early on with 2 million. The two unnamed runners broke out quickest of all. It's the one with W.H. Lim in the saddle, though, that's out there as the early leader. The other unnamed runner under Shafiq's battle on the inside in second, and those two match each other stride for stride. 2 lengths back to Ice Age in third. Battle on the inside is Major Fortune. On his outside is Safe Journey and 2 millions now last of all and racing 8 lengths off the leaders as they make the way past the 500 meter mark. And it's the unnamed runner by Projet up in front with W.H. Lim in the saddle with the narrow lead. The other unnamed runner by Spieth and Shafiq is battle on the inside in second. Just in behind those is Ice Age. The rest of the field well outpaced with Safe Journey back in fourth and 8 lengths off the lead as they're into the final 200 meters, and there's nothing between the unnamed runners splitting them at this stage. But now the inside runner slowly starting to get the better under Shafiq, and it will be the unnamed runner by Spieth that wins from the unnamed runner by Projet in second. Then came Ice Age in third, followed further back by Safe Journey in fourth, 2 million, and then came Major Fortune. So the two unnamed runners left to fight out trial 3, but it'll go the way of the unnamed runner by Spieth for the HY Chen stable, ridden by Shafiq. They'll get the better of the second unnamed runner, which is by Projet, ridden by WH Lim, also for the HY Chen stable. And only half a length separate those two, a gap of about 4 lengths in running. So Ice Age was back in third, followed by a bigger gap of about 5 or 6 lengths. It's a Safe Journey who was in fourth. Then came 2 million, and Major Fortune was last across the line. So just to repeat the numbers one more time, it was the unnamed runner by Spieth, ridden by Shafiq as your winner. The second unnamed runner finished in second. That was by Projet, ridden by W.H. Lim, followed by Ice Age in third. Then came Safe Journey in fourth. Fifth place 2 million, and Major Fortune was back in sixth. That completes trial 3. We head across to trial 4. Just a reminder, we move across to the sand track now for trials 4 and 5. Both of them over 1,000 meters, and both of them a field of 4 runners respectively. We'll have the field up shortly for trial 4. Runners and riders for trial 4. Just Louis will be ridden by T. Amar. Superb Winner will be ridden by Joe Camerudan. Capuchin will be ridden by Caden Brewer. And Gulf Eagle will be ridden by Jose de Souza. Field of 4 runners, 1,000 meters on the sand track. And they should be making their way down to the start shortly for the second and last trial for the morning. Runners moving in for the 4th trial. Capuchin steps forward. Just a field of 4 runners on the sand track over 1,000 meters. The only runner here harder to race this weekend is Superb Winner, who probably has the record for the biggest win on a sand track barrier trial. Gulf Eagle moves in. Just Louis. Superb winner, the last one. Superb winner completes the field. And Just Louis has broken through the front of the stalls, but hasn't gone too far. And has only gone about 20 meters. Practically walked out of the stalls through the front. So nothing too serious there with Just Louis. He'll be taken to the back of the stalls and will be loaded up instantly. And it'll be round 2 for trial 4. Just Louis moves in. Second attempt now. Handler moves away 1,000 meters on the sand track. Fourth trial, and the runners are sent on their way from the 1,000 meter mark. And the starters caught them to a perfect line towards the inside. Just Louis, just the narrow lead at the early stages. At his outside is Superb Winner. Deep Route is Capuchin in third, and last of all is Gulf Eagle. So the field of 4 made the way into the turn now with just on 700 meters left to travel. Slight change in order. Superb Winner now picks up the lead from Just Louis, faded back into second. 3 lengths back and running to Capuchin in third, and Gulf Eagle's the back marker. Only about 5 lengths cover the field. As they make their way towards the top of the straight, 400 meters left to travel. Superb Winner out in front by a length and a half. To Just Louis, battle on the inside. Gulf Eagle travels well on the red silks in third, and towards the outside is Capuchin in fourth. About 4 lengths cover the field into the final 200 meters they go. Superb Winner still in front. Just Louis still there in second. Towards the outside, Gulf Eagle now a big runner, and Gulf Eagle sweeps on by. Just Louis battle on the inside, also fighting right back. It's going to get close between these two runners as they hit the line. And Just Louis, I think, actually beats the outside Gulf Eagle, who finishes into second. Then came Superb Winner, and Capuchin was back in fourth. So it gets close at the end, but the inside Just Louis, I think, is going to hold on from the Simon Dunderdale stable, and Amar in the saddle. Broke out on speed. He allowed Superb Winner to work around him and gets to the front, and Gulf Eagle travelled really well into this trial up on the outside. But Just Louis finds a bit more battle on the inside and will win by just about a head or so in the closing stages. So it's Just Louis from Gulf Eagle in second. Then came Superb Winner, who picked up the lead around the turn but fades out to finish in third. And Capuchin was back in fourth. Just to repeat the numbers one more time. Just Louis the winner, Gulf Eagle in second, Superb Winner third place, and Capuchin was last in fourth. That completes trial 4. Move across to trial 5 next. This is the fourth and final trial for the morning. Also just a field of 4 runners, and should commence in approximately 6 minutes time. Runners and riders for the last trial. Starting off with Dragon Whisperer will be ridden by Oscar Chavez. Kitsune will be ridden by Zilhilmi. Solid as a Rock, J. Ikram. And Always Lucky will be ridden by Esper Howden. 4 runners for the fifth and final trial for the morning. It's over 1,000 meters on the sand track, and they should be making their way down to the start shortly. Runners moving in for the last trial. Dragon Whisperer. Just a field of 4 runners. 1,000 meters on the sand track here. As Kitsune will be the next one. Always Lucky will be the last one. Always Lucky steps forward, and we are set and ready. Field of 4 runners, 5th and final trial for the morning on the sand track, 1,000 meters. Gates are open and they're sent on their way from the 1,000 meter mark. Dropping out early on after the start is Dragon Whisperer, who lacks any early speed. Towards the outside is Always Lucky, broke out quickest of all. Towards the inside, Kitsune also shows some good early pace. From just in behind that is Solid as a Rock back in 3rd. And well outpaced and detached from the rest of the field is Dragon Whisperer, who spots the leader 10 lengths going past the 700 meter mark. And the leader now is Always Lucky, picks it up, goes a length and a half clear. Kitsune battle on the inside in 2nd. 6 lengths further back to Solid as a Rock, and Dragon Whisperers still last of all and still 10 lengths off the leader. 3:50 left to go in the final trial for the morning, and Kitsune has picked up the lead along the inside. Always Lucky's up on the outside of runners. A long way back to the rest of the field with Solid as a Rock as Dragon Whisperer. As they're into the final 150 meters, it's Kitsune who's in front, starting to run a bit tired. Up on his outside, Always Lucky, and hard up the outside is Solid as a Rock, who's starting to catch the eye late. It's Kitsune in front, Solid as a Rock. Oh, very close. Kitsune, I think, just holds on from Solid as a Rock. 3rd place was Dragon Whisperer, who also took off from the back end of the field. And Always Lucky faded right out to finish last. Once to the final 200 meters, the trial completely changed complexion here. As Kitsune looked like he was going to go on to win, and the runners at the back, Dragon Whisperer and Solid as a Rock, making good leg gains in the closing stages. But I think Kitsune has just held on here as they hit the line, and he does. So Kitsune is the winner from Solid as a Rock back in 2nd. Then came Dragon Whisperer in 3rd. And last across the line was Always Lucky, who was beaten 2.5 lengths back in 4th. So the trial completely changed in the final 200 meters, but Kitsune will hold on from the Frank Maynard stable, ridden by Zilhilmi, and will win by just about a head or so. 2nd place, Solid as a Rock, and 3rd was Dragon Whisperer, and Always Lucky was last across the line. Thank you very much for joining us for the Barrier Trials this Tuesday, the 24th of February, as we head across to racing this weekend on Saturday, the 27th of Feb. As well as Saturday the 28th of Feb, and then Sunday the 1st of March, we're racing in Ipoh at the Perak Turf Club. So a double header of racing here in Malaysia this weekend, and we'll see you back here on Saturday for our 11 race card on the program. Until then, farewell and enjoy the rest of the week ahead.